Greetings and salutations, one and all. Welcome to another Healthy Love Night right here on the night shift to DJ Kevin Stew. How you doing? I want to say big ups to each and everyone locked in right now. Those on TuneIn Radio, the night shift to DJ Kevin Stew. Across upon the One Harmony Radio, top of the morning to you guys over there in the UK. Big ups to those on WGLRO, the People Station. Home of the Donny Walker Morning Show, taking you from the sheets to the streets, touching from Detroit to Denmark and all points in between. Big ups to those on ClintonLindsay.com, the Foundation Radio Network. Those on PEMG TV. Those on Reggae Global Radio. And of course, right here at the home of the night shift to DJ Kevin Stew. KevinStew.com, where you're encouraged to have acceptance through enlightenment. So glad to have you. I couldn't do it without you, and guess what? You have my word. I wouldn't even try. Kicking it off tonight with the sound of Blacks and Irfan Alves. It's called Contagious. So the vibes well contagious. But it's interesting, you know. If there's one thing that people, I believe people drink a whole lot less of today, is water. I don't know why. For some reason, people say the water don't taste good. I don't know. I want to say thank you to Paul C Media Group for sponsoring this segment of the broadcast. When being in the moment is priceless, give them a call. They can do everything you see right here on KevinStew.com and more. So if you have an event that you want to stream live, give them a call. If you want to take it a step further and have your own internet stream, like, you know, having your own internet TV station, yeah man, they can hook you up with that too. Give them a call, 754-999-6020, or check them out at paulcmg.com. Tell them DJ Kevin Stew sent you. Them say them not drinking water. I don't know what them drinking. What them drinking? What you drinking? Want to say big ups to those in the Reggae Global Radio chat room. Much respect, Rupee T. Thank you for the handoff. It's called Contagious. Whole day we're drinking rum. Hey, listen. If there is one thing that is pure, it's some good J. Ray and yeah, you know it's who. No free advertising around here. Yeah, but some good Jamaican rum, you know. It's also guaranteed. Well, let me not say it's guaranteed too. But it has been used in the prevention and the sterilization to prevent COVID-19. You know, when we're looking for pure alcohol sources, rum was one of the pure things that them used. You know, so hey, like what his name? I don't remember his name now, but the introduction to the song Run With It, yeah, that one. It said, me and my friend Mr. Rum, yeah, they're showing up. So what you drinking? What you using to help in the fight against COVID-19? And what steps are you taking to try to prevent this whole vaccine mandate that it seems like we're heading in the direction of? Because like it or not, more and more, that's where things seem to be going. Around the world, there's considerable resistance against mandatory COVID-19 vaccinations. But even if the vaccine ends up being voluntary, quote unquote voluntary, refusing to take it will have severe implications for people who enjoy their freedom. I don't know if anybody else noticed, but it is being set up in such a way that your voluntary decision, your personal decision when it comes to certain vaccinations seem to be more of mandates than choices. And the way things have been going with the COVID-19 vaccine, it seems like it's going to be the same thing. I have expressed several concerns when it comes to COVID before. I have expressed several concerns when it comes to, well, when I say COVID, I mean COVID vaccinations. I've expressed various concerns when it comes to vaccinations on a whole. Because it's definitely not like it used to be. Definitely not. We don't even need to have an if, but, and, or maybe about that. And that is concerning for me. mainly because I have children. And I am very concerned about what will be the final decision when it comes to our children. Are they going to be growing up in a society where it's just, hey, listen, everything is as the government says it's going to be, and that's all there is to it? You have no choice, you have no free will, you have none of that. Is how the system set it, that's how you're going to be working with it. If you listen to some of the songs from the past, tunes like Microchip, you know, that's pretty much what we're facing right now. Was that being prophetic, or was that just a notification, a paying attention to the trends? For months, the writing has been on the wall. Forced vaccination is part and parcel of the plan to reset the global economic system, forever altering life as we know it along the way. Now, global vaccine passports are in fact being introduced. And it's only a matter of time before vaccination status will be a prerequisite for travel. They're already making that somewhat of a well, they haven't yet. Let me not say that. It seems like they're setting that up with the reopenings. So in order for you to get back into certain circles, into this is how I'm looking at it actually. Because I haven't read anywhere yet where they say that this is the case. But I am looking at it this way. So this is Kevin Stew's view. And the views expressed by Kevin Stew is not those expressed by Reggae Global Radio, by the Foundation Radio Network, ClintonLindsay.com, by One Harmony Radio, by PEMGTV.com, by WGLRO. It's just Kevin Stew's views and opinions. Okay? Cool. If you want to agree with me, cool. If you want to disagree, that's fine too. As a matter of fact, you can do it and share your agreement or your disagreement. You can go ahead and call or text, use up the line 773-789-STEW, 773-789-7839. You can call, text, WhatsApp. If you're overseas and those don't work for you, and WhatsApp work everywhere, but if it doesn't work for you, you can also Skype me. Kevin.stew is a Skype handle. All right? But of course, you go to kevinstew.com, you jump into the stew pot, and you can comment all you want. Just keep it respectful. And for those of you who don't know what the stew pot is, it's what others call a chat room. Over here on kevinstew.com, we're very fancy. We call it the stew pot. It's where we keep things bubbling and interactive. So come on, spice it up. Come on over. kevinstew.com. Of course, those listening on Reggae Global Radio, you have the option. You comment on Reggae Global Radio or you comment on kevinstew.com. Cool? Cool. All right. So, as I was saying, this is how it seems to be shaping up from my eyes. The lockdown happened, and it's possible that there will be another lockdown because COVID numbers are rising again. So the numbers went down after the lockdown, or reportedly went down after the lockdown. So if there's another lockdown, then chances are there's going to be a push for vaccines, and you can't get back into generalized activities. You can't get into clubbing, you can't go partying. Oh, clubbing and partying is just about the same thing. You can't go to sporting events, you can't go to school, you can't go to church unless you've been vaccinated and you can prove it. That is how I'm envisioning this whole thing going, which is not looking too pretty. So, of course, you will have regular society and you'll probably have the underground society. If you look at some of the movies, the like Mad Max, you have the underground society. I think Judge Dredd was like that too. You had one society being the the technological society where everything and thing was like that too. Total Recall. Everything is you're tracked walking down the street. Commercials recognize you and identify you by name and things like that. You have certain identifiers embedded in you, whether it be a microchip or nanotechnology, whatever it will be. So this is where I am thinking we're going to be heading, really and truly. So I don't know if it's art imitating life or somebody had some insight and decided that they were going to try to desensitize us from early out. But just how voluntary is it to have COVID-19 vaccines if you ever want to leave the country, or perhaps even leaving the state? Ever thought about that? If it becomes mandatory, will you be able to ever travel again outside of your state or outside of your country? According to Mercola.com, Common Pass is a digital health passport. It's a framework initiated by the Commons Project, the World Economic Forum, and the Rockefeller Foundation, which during the first week of July 2020 convened more than 350 leaders from the public and private sectors in 52 countries to design a common framework for safe border reopening around the world. That's what they classified it as. The proposed framework involves the following. Every nation must publish their health screening criteria for entry into the country using a standard format on a common framework. That's one. Two, each country must register trusted facilities that conduct COVID-19 lab testing for foreign travel and administer vaccines listed in the Common Pass registry. Pay attention. Take notes if you have to. If you miss it, that's fine. It will be in the archives. You can go back and either watch or listen to the archived broadcast. All right? On kevinstew.com. 3. Each country will accept health screening status from foreign visitors through apps and services built on the Common Pass framework. 4. Patient identification is to be collected at the time of sample collection or vaccination using an international standard. And 5. The Common Pass framework will be integrated into flight and hotel reservation and check-in processes. Think about what is happening in your country, in your community, right now, as it relates to travel, as it relates to reopenings. Think about what is happening. Are you seeing anything that resembles those 5 criteria? Eventually, what will happen, according to Mercola, eventually the Common Pass framework will be integrated with already existing personal health apps such as Apple Health and Common Health. If you want to travel, your personal health record will be evaluated and compared to a country's entry requirements, and if you do not meet them, you'll be directed to an approved testing and vaccination location. Now, a screen grab from the video. There's a video where a screen grab illustrates the general idea of how this will work. And when you get your test results or vaccine, that data is uploaded to an app on your cell phone. The app generates a barcode that is then scanned at the airport. At hotel check-in, also, or wherever else vaccine status verification is deemed necessary. So if you're going to a club, just like they would check your ID, they're gonna check your vaccine status. If you're going to a sporting event, same thing. Traveling, of course. Cruises, especially cruises. It's one thing when you're on a flight for, I don't know, 10 hours. You're traveling halfway around the world. You're on a flight for 10 hours. It's another thing when you're on a cruise for 3 to 7 days. Totally different ball game. That Rockefeller Center is one of the 3 founders of Common Pass. Should surprise no one. Considering they basically laid the groundwork for it back in April, specifically on April 21, 2020, in their white paper, National COVID-19 Testing Action Plan. Strategic steps to reopen our workplaces and our communities. So they already had something laid out. The white paper laid out a strategic framework that is clearly intended to become a part of permanent surveillance and social control structure that severely limits personal liberty and freedom of choice. It also warns that elimination of privacy will be required, stating that some privacy concerns must be set aside for an infectious agent as virulent as COVID-19. The tracking system proposed by the Rockefeller Foundation also demands access to other medical data, which tells us the system will have any number of other uses besides tracking COVID-19 cases. All under the guise of our safety, right? So, before I go on, let's look back at the whole idea of giving up some of your privacy. I don't know how many of you in the United States remember the telephone systems acting up and then updates being sent to the phones, and then all of a sudden there's a COVID tracking app that you had the ability to disable. There's a feature that showed up in your settings for COVID-19 tracking. You didn't put it there. You didn't agree to it being there. It was just there. Look at that. Look at how many times you are using your devices, your personal devices, whether it be your phone, your tablet, any of the services that are provided to quote unquote make life easier for you, where you speak into the device and they give you a response. Let's use our phones and tablets for the sake of this example. You're in dialogue with someone, whether on the phone or face to face. And then you go on your social media and what you were talking about. Notice I didn't say you were on your devices searching for something. You're speaking to someone face to face. Then you go on social media and some of the things that you were talking about ends up being in the advertising feeds that pop up on your screen. It is said to be more intuitive, right? So that they have successfully labeled it target marketing. But what permission did you give for your conversations to be heard in order for you to be target marketed? I don't know how many people actually stop and think about it. I've had situations where I'm sharing topics for one of my broadcasts, and I get blocked in from sharing it out to groups. And then the excuse is that to protect me from oversharing and to protect those that I'm connected with from being bombarded, then I'm limited. Then if you're going to protect people and protect me, you'd base that on the fact that I'm sharing constantly. However, I am not one on social media like that. I do not share constantly. So, who am I bombarding? But I've realized that it happens with certain topics. So, I just chuckle and move right along. I don't know if anybody else notices it, but I do. These are the things when they talk about certain privacy concerns being set aside. Yeah, they're already doing it. They're setting it aside for you, and some of it you don't even know. So it is so subtle that by the time you realize it, you're saying, you know what? Well, it's already happening, or as we in Jamaica would say, done gone bad already. It's already happening, so we'll just leave it alone. We'll just go with it. It can't get any worse. Real quickly before I take a break and say goodbye to Facebook Live, those of you who are tuning in on Facebook, Derek, how you doing, bro? Big ups to you. How's the family? Take a moment and just think about it. The way to cook a frog is not to put it in boiling water. It's to put it in a pot of water where it's already comfortable, and then slowly increase the temperature of the water. As the water increases, the water temperature increases, the frog will compensate because the temperature is gradually changing. They will gradually get comfortable with the adjustment until it's too late to recognize that this water is unbearable. They boil to death and you get to have your frog stew or your frog soup or your whatever. It's as simple as that. That is what is happening with us. We are slowly being conditioned to a new norm. If you don't believe me, check your devices. We're going to take a quick little break. When we come back, we're going to talk some more. It's a night shift with DJ Kevin Stew, Healthy Love Night. We're looking at the concept of a vaccine passport. Call a friend, tell a friend. Check me out on the various platforms. KevinStew.com is the home of the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew. Come into the stew pot. Be interactive. Call me. Text me 773-789-7839. 773-789. Stew is a quick way to remember it. Nice and easy. We'll be right back after these messages. Facebook Live. It's been real. Deuces. Catch you tomorrow.
Pulsey Media Group, innovative streaming and recording, has done it again. A new way to get your business in full view of your neighborhood consumer through AdShare TV. It's available in your neighborhood today. It's easy. Just call us 754-999-6020. Become a host today and place a TV monitor in a strategic location so it's easy to see. Get a 1-minute video ad or longer that plays anywhere in our network. Can't be a host? No problem. For a few dollars, we'll run your 30-second video ad. A host can run announcement specials like buy one get one free or discount ads. Let's turn your flyers into a 30-second video with music or a voiceover, or let us create and run your video ad with a spokesperson. Take advantage of our early enrollment discount. Join us today your ad will be seen at least 30 times per day in your AdShare TV neighborhood. It's easy. Just call us 754-999-6020. AdShare TV, part of Pulse Media Group.
Imagine having our own Caribbean Center.
Imagine a museum highlighting our history and the contributions of Caribbean people to the world.
Imagine being able to visit and learn about the islands we call home
In a place where our kids can see and feel their cultural heritage. You can make this vision come to life.
Help us create this first of its kind space
that all Caribbean people can be proud of. Your contribution to Island Space Caribbean Museum will help this dream come true.
Visit islandspacefl.org/GoFundMe.
Visit islandspacefl.org/GoFundMe.
Visit islandspacefl.org/GoFundMe and donate today.
It takes an entire village to raise a child. Hello, I'm Paul Campbell, here to talk about Palace. Peace and Love Academic Scholarship. This nonprofit group supports students facing serious obstacles from entering or continuing their studies, not because the grades are failing, but due to the lack of financial support.
Over the past 8 years, Palace has awarded 600 scholarships valued at approximately 50.3 million Jamaican dollars, or 415,000 US dollars.
Together, we must build a better future for our children. Please visit www.palace1.org and make your donation to brighten the future of a deserving child. Palace, preserving young minds for posterity.
Come on, smile. Oh, honey, he's still not smiling.
Maybe he's not a smiler.
Yeah, maybe he's just not a happy baby.
Maybe he's just being a boy.
Or maybe he's teething.
Maybe it's just a phase.
Maybe he has autism, and we can definitely do something to help.
Maybe is all you need to find out more about autism. No big, joyful smiles by 6 months is one early sign. Learn the others at autismspeaks.org/signs. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
Matthew 28:19 says, "Go ye therefore and teach all nations." With this in mind, and encouragement received during a South Florida media conference, The Church Links was birthed. The Church Links is an interdenominational worship service portal for churches, providing the tools to spread the word through technology in a cost-effective way. The Church Links, www.dahchurchlinx.com. Your links to worship and praise.
Hey yo, this is Carman to let you know that right about now you are logged on to DJ Kevin Stew on the night shift. Don't move.
It's been a long time coming. Are you ever gonna change? Are you ever gonna to take advice for how I'm feeling? It's been a long time running, and I know you wanna stay. So I think that it is time we live like we used to. Right all around the city singing with the top down. Let's take it back to when we were younger. It's been a long time coming, so put on a happy face. Grab my hand so we can let all of our troubles out. There's no cares tonight. Take me for a ride. Even when it's dark, never will lie. Even when it's dark and you lose your mind. Whoa, whoa. Right in the moment when your head is confused. Oh, I will stay in the madness with you.
welcome you back to the broadcast. It's Healthy Love Night right here on KevinStew.com on the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew. The track is called Madness. Artist goes by the name Royce. I want to say thank you to Althea and her Healing Heavenly Hands for sponsoring this segment of the broadcast. Althea is a licensed massage therapist that comes to you operating out of Broad County, North Miami-Dade and South Palm Beach counties. Just give her a call, 954-655-9000, or email her at thealate@att.net. She comes to you COVID-free. She'd like to leave COVID-free. Outside of paying her, she only has one request. You get off her table and go sleep somewhere else, so she can pack up and leave. And I guarantee you, you'll want to sleep. It's called Madness, and some madness is real madness when you look at it, because what is going on with our freedom, our liberties, our choices, that's madness. It really is. So here it is. This digital clearance system is currently being tested by United Airlines on flights between London and Newark, and Cathay Pacific on flights between Hong Kong and Singapore. And this was reported by TOT News on the 15th of November 2020. Quote, volunteer travelers landing at Newark Liberty International Airport on United Airlines Flight 15 from London Heathrow used the Common Pass Health Pass on their mobile phone to document their COVID-19 status and share it with airline staff upon disembarking. Officials from U.S. Customs and Border Protection and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the CDC, observed the Common Pass demonstration in Newark. The transatlantic trial followed a successful trial of Common Pass on a Cathay Pacific flight from Hong Kong to Singapore on October 6. Paul Mayer, CEO of the Commons Project, says it is anticipated that following initial trials, Common Pass will be rolled out on other routes, including international travel to and from Australia. We are now seeing the beginning phases of a worldwide tracking system that will be linked to health status of each and every individual. This has always been the agenda. Track and trace, identify the undesirables through deception. End quote. Okay, pause. Undesirable what exactly are we talking about? And we're tracking and tracing whom? I don't know if people really stop to ask these other questions, because that's exactly what they are, other questions that need to be addressed, but we're not addressing them. Why aren't these questions that we're taking our community leaders to task about? Because if you don't think that you need to address your community leaders, you are sadly mistaken. The globe is made up of communities. Why do you think there were 52 leaders at this meeting? So in the let's take the US, for example. In the county that you live, you have a representative that communicates with the state, leaders in the state that you live in. So you have the community which you live in, the city you live in, you have the county that that city is in, you have the state that that county is in, you have the country that that state is in. So you have representation going all the way up. So when you get to the top of that ladder, where do you think the information about that little city that you live in is coming from? The president of a country or the prime minister of a country is not going to every city. So how do you think they're getting the information? So who needs to be held to task if things are not going right in your city? And if you follow the trend, city to county to state to country. If it is not going right in your city, you think it's going to be going right in the country? In the long run? Or vice versa? If it's not going right, if it's not looking too pretty for the country, but you said you're saying, you know, you're really comfortable in the city that you're in because that is not happening where you live. You think it's going to remain that way? So it is explained in what you need to know about the Great Reset. The current pandemic is being used as a justification for why we need to reset the global economy and shift away from capitalism and free enterprise into a system of technocracy. The word technocracy is never used by actual technocrats. That's something that we need to take in mind. Instead, they talk about the Great Reset and the Fourth Industrial Revolution, the nuts and bolts of which boil down to transhumanism. In years past, this plan was referred to as New World Order. Sound familiar? Okay. Now the light bulbs are going off. Now you're connecting the dots. It was referred to as New World Order or One World Order. All of these terms refer to an agenda that has the same ultimate goal. It is a plan that is decades in the making. Ultimately, the goal is to monitor and control the world through technological surveillance. It's a world government run by self-appointed elitists. Hence, it calls for the total dismantling of the political system, which includes the US Constitution. National borders are also destined to be erased. Does any of this sound vaguely familiar? Think about the monitoring with using technology, listening to your conversations, watching your steps. Yeah, your steps. Who remembers that movie, Enemy of the State? I'm plugging some movies tonight that could be considered science fiction, but are now our reality. Or reality is heading in that direction. In that movie, people's phones are being tapped to see what was happening around them. 5G networks are said to be able to pinpoint where you are to the accuracy of what? Within 500 feet? 500 feet is not a great distance. Now, I could be wrong with that measurement. Somehow 500 feet sticks out in my head. If anybody has an accurate number, go ahead and tell me. I'm just going off what I remember, and I cannot say that for this, my memory is the best. That for that figure. But think about the number of 5G towers that are in a geographical area. You think they might be able to pinpoint where you are to within feet of where you actually are? I'll leave that to you to answer. Again, numbers to call, numbers to text, 773-789-STEW, 773-789-7839 gets you in touch. You can call, text, WhatsApp. Of course, the Stew Pot is available on kevinstew.com. Jump on in. It's where we get interactive and where the pot is bubbling. Just jump on in and help season it, yeah? You can also comment on reggaeglobalradio.com. You can Skype me on kevinstew.com. Sorry, Kevin.stew on Skype. Alright? Cool. So, technocracy is a resource-based economic system. For those wondering what technocracy refers to. Which is why the World Economic Forum talks about the creation of sustainable digital finance, a carbon-based economy, and a carbon crediting system. It is explained on its website. Digital finance refers to the integration of big data, artificial intelligence, mobile platforms, blockchain, and the Internet of Things, IoT, in the provision of financial services. Sustainable finance refers to financial services integrating environmental, social, and governance, ESG criteria, into the business or investment decisions. When combined, sustainable digital finance can take advantage of emerging technologies to analyze data, power investment decisions, and grow jobs in sectors supporting a transition to a low-carbon economy. These rather innocuous-sounding definitions hide a true intent that would shock people to their core. Were they to see the complete picture, they'd be amazed. Professor Klaus Schwab, founder and executive chairman of the World Economic Forum, has stated that the fourth industrial revolution will, quote, lead to a fusion of our physical, digital, and biological identity, complete with implantable microchips capable of reading your thoughts. Isn't that interesting? Remember, with the vaccine delivery system that they're promoting, it involves nanotechnology. So the concept that this technology may be able to read your thoughts, that's not so far-fetched. This no longer sounds so far-fetched. Here we go. This no longer sounds so far-fetched when you consider that technocracy requires social engineering to work. It requires total surveillance. It requires each person to be tied to the digital matrix, physically, mentally, and financially, such that they cannot rebel. So, physically, mentally, financially. Let's look at that for a moment, really quickly. Kevin Stew's opinion, you don't have to agree with it, but let's break this down. How are we physically being tied to the matrix? Apps. Yeah? Social media. How are we mentally being tied to the matrix? The thought that we cannot do without social media and some of these apps. And the technology that is on the horizon, which leads to nanotechnology being introduced to the human body. And financially, digital currencies, which have been on the rise over the past, 5 years? So, where are we heading? To learn more about the history and intent behind technocracy, consider reading Patrick Wood's books, Technocracy Rising, The Trojan Horse of Global Transformation, and Technocracy, The Hard Road to World Order. Consider reading those books. I have never read them myself. I'm just learning about them too. Do I want to start touching on this? All right, let me. We're gonna go to a break on Reggae Global Radio. We'll touch on this in just a moment, because let's not fool ourselves. I don't know how much or how little can be said about where we're currently heading. It's not exactly a happy place to be. It's not exactly an easy thing to consider when you're considering giving up your choice, the ability to choose. You're giving up whether or not you're going to share information, because you have no control over the information that is available to Big Brother, for instance, for argument's sake. So your control ends up being a figment of your imagination. Now, how scary is that? We're going to take a break. And when we come back, we talk a little bit more before we get to our musical therapy. Are you scared yet? Are you worried yet? Are you concerned yet? If not, I don't know what you're waiting for. We'll be back after these few messages.
Reggae Global Entertainment presents international recording artist Ed Robinson's new single, One of the Poorest People. This is a hot one. Available November 15th, 2020.
When being in the moment is priceless, consider the ability to share that moment. If you can video it, you can broadcast it. And Pulse E-Media Group has the tools you need. Weddings, birthdays, funerals, graduations, church services, parties, seminars, you name it. Pulse E-Media Group can provide you with a secure medium controlled by you to broadcast your event. Contact us at www.pulseemediagroup.com for more information. Pulse E-Media Group, when being in the moment is priceless.
A social distancing tip. While the CDC urges you to avoid close contact, like hugging or shaking hands, there are other non-physical ways to say hello. Wave, wink, use sign language, salute, smile, give the peace sign, throw up an air high five, do jazz hands. Remember, stay a minimum of 6 feet or 2 arms length away from others, and stay home if you can. For more info, visit coronavirus.gov.
Let's all do our part, because we're all #AloneTogether. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Greetings and salutations, one and all. You're invited to tune in to the Night Shift with DJ Kevin Stew. It airs on Mondays with Community and Finance, Tuesdays with Healthy Love, and Wednesdays with Real Talk from 10 p.m. to midnight Eastern Time. Come spend some time interacting in the stew pot where we keep things bubbling and wind down in musical therapy. The Night Shift with DJ Kevin Stew is on kevinstew.com, where you're encouraged to have acceptance through enlightenment.
I'm representing for DJ Kevin Stew, working on the night shift radio show. Won't go changing like the weather, just to please the devil never. Will DJ Kevin Stew sell his soul? That's a word and honor. It's Christine to representing word and honor. Selassie DJ Kevin Stew.
See them love. Oh yes, I see them. Lost in illusion. Lost in illusion. I see them love. Oh yes, I see them. Lost in delusion. Illusion. And now they reside in the state of confusion. Why is it that my race remains poor? My race sitting on the jail floors. My race fighting to knock down doors. Same race they stole from across the shore. My race that built this great nation, still trapped on my plantation. I see them love. Oh yes, I see them. Lost in illusion. Lost in illusion. I see them love. Oh yes, I see them. Lost in delusion. And now they reside in a state of confusion. Rwanda, Haiti, down in Darfur, Jamaica, they're crying out for murder, hunger. Why can't we come together and help one another? It only takes but one to start a revolution. Please don't play into the illusion. Oh, I see them lost. Yeah, I see them lost. You're in a state of confusion. Wake up, wake up, wake up, yeah. Oh, I see them lost. I see them lost. I see them running, running, running. Oh, I see them running. Oh, my people lost. Oh, my people lost. Yeah, hey. I wanna tell it to you now. Oh, I see them lost. Lost in illusion. Yeah, I see them lost. Oh, lost in delusion. Yeah, my people, you lost.
Yeah, there are some people lost in illusion.
I see them love. Oh yes, I see them. Lost in illusion. Lost in illusion. I see them love. Oh yes, I see them. Lost in delusion.
The sound of Nikki Blaze.
In a state of confusion. I see them love. Oh yes, I see them.
I want to say thank you to Reggae Global Entertainment for sponsoring this segment of the broadcast. Reggae Global Entertainment will take care of your tour management. You can talk to them about your websites, photography, your press releases, graphic designs, trademarks, publishings, business registration, legal service referrals, music production, marketing and promotion, and more. Give them a call, 954-998-8034, or check them on reggaeglobalentertainment.com. Tell them you heard about them from the night shift to DJ Kevin Stew. Thank you, Reggae Global Entertainment. Remember to download your Reggae Global Radio app. Available in the Apple Play Store and the Google Play Store. Son of Nicky Blaze, it's called Lost in Illusion. Yeah, man, some people just saying a loo. Yeah, it's a real thing, you know. Because, if you're just tuning in, welcome. Before I start heading off to where I'm going again, welcome if you're just tuning in. So glad to have you. Thank you for calling a friend and telling a friend and inviting them to join you on this broadcast. It's Healthy Love Night right here on the Night Shift with DJ Kevin Stew. That happens every Tuesday night. On Mondays, it's Community and Finance. On Wednesdays, it's Real Talk. And welcome if it's your first time on Reggae Global Radio. Welcome if it's your first time on the Foundation Radio Network, ClintonLindsay.com, or on One Harmony Radio, or even WGLRO that does a rebroadcast of my show. Welcome. If you're new to PEMG TV and you want to have something like that, give them a link. They're sponsors of the Night Shift with DJ Kevin Stew. You can find a link on kevinstew.com. Scroll down to the lower part of the page. You have links available to you from to these platforms that sponsor the broadcast, and a few others that have been supporters. You know, like Melissa Jean. There's a link to her. Those of you who don't know, Melissa Jean is my sister from another mister. You want to check her out live on a Thursday night on Facebook Live. And also on YouTube. She has a YouTube channel also. She has amazing guests and amazing tech tips. So check her out. That's Melissa Jane. Millissa Jane. Jayne. Alright? Cool. Anyway, back to the matter at hand. It's Healthy Love Night, and we're looking at the concept of a vaccine passport. Now, whether or not, well, we can't even say whether or not it will be a digital passport or a physical document. Here's what. They're moving away from the paper thing, so chances are if you want real-time tracking, it's going to be digital. It's as simple as that. There are no ifs, ands, or buts about it. When world leaders talk about building back better and spin tales about a utopia in which humanity no longer has a negative impact on the environment, what they're really talking about is a transition to a world in which mankind is no longer free to do any of the things they were previously engaged in and typically enjoyed. Common Pass is a cog in the Great Reset plan. It's the beginning stage of mass tracking and tracing under the guise of keeping everyone safe from infectious disease. Now rest assured, it will not be limited to COVID-19. The pandemic is just the justification for ushering in this radical new way of life. Pause. Just gathering my thoughts and the things that run through my head as I present this information is just amazing. So, here's the thought that, according to Mercolo.com, the pandemic is just justification for ushering in this radical new way of life, right? how far-fetched is that statement? Think about it. Look at the number of COVID cases. Look at the number of COVID case deaths. Do you really see where there are so many people dying from quote-unquote COVID-19 that it should warrant the kind of attention that it has been getting? Think about it. Now, I'm not saying that COVID-19 is not a real thing. I'm not saying that you don't get really ill. But pay attention to the people that have actually died when they contracted COVID-19. And then look at the people that had died last year and the year before from getting the flu or getting pneumonia. You do that. I'm not going to do it for you because my job is to stimulate your appetite, not to satisfy your hunger. You do that for yourself. Because if you continue to listen to people, and those people could be me, if you just continue to listen to what someone with a mic and a camera or just a microphone is saying, because everybody these days has a broadcast. The question is, what kind of substance are you getting from that broadcast? So, everybody is presenting something. Are you getting everything from the people that are presenting something? Or are you asking some questions of your own and doing some research of your own? Because now you're looking at two different things. One is hearsay. One is research. Now, of course, you're researching information that someone put out there. Cool. You're researching, you're looking at different things that are put out by different people. Those that like to listen to a particular presenter or broadcaster tend to stick with that presenter or that broadcaster or that podcast or whatever it is, because that's what they like to listen to or like to watch. So the variety from which to pull information and then use your own judgment, that now becomes even more limited. The global lockdowns are part and parcel of this radical new way of life plan. You may have seen articles musing about how waterways and air cleared up while everyone kept indoors for weeks on end. Who knows, in the future, we may well have rolling lockdowns to look forward to. Periodic house arrests for the sake of the environment, if not to prevent the latest outbreak. For the sake of the environment, I can work with. Because Mother Earth had been really happy when the pollution cut down. Meanwhile, social distancing and mask wearing separates us from our fellow man, demoralizes and actually dehumanizes us, and makes us alone, fearful and anxious, which in turn prevents us from thinking logically and from coordinating resistance efforts with others. Think about that also. Because if they're controlling the way that you can communicate, then the whole idea of coordinating efforts to resist is eliminated. So now we're going to have to go back to Morse code, which I don't know Morse code. I could have told some people about them parts. I don't know. But we may have to go back to the days of secret messaging, the days of the message by drum, the days of smoke signals. You know, the messaging pigeon. Because this technological age is more controlling than liberating. And to that, a grossly biased media and, adding to the restrictions, a grossly biased media and draconian censorship, where the big tech overlords decide what opinions and even facts are allowable and which are not. When you multiply it all together, it starts looking like the biggest psyop in the history of mankind, which in turn begs the question, if the direction they want us to go will actually lead to utopia, would this kind of social engineering effort really be necessary? November 10, 2016, the World Economic Forum published an article in Forbes titled, "Welcome to 2030. I own nothing, have no privacy, and life has never been better." That's the title. But read beyond the creepy headline and see what it's all about. Let's take a look. Quote, "Welcome to the year 2030. Welcome to my city," or should I say, our city. "I don't own anything. I don't own a car. I don't own a house. I don't own any appliances or any clothes." It might seem odd to you, but it makes perfect sense for us in this city. Everything you considered a product has now become a service. We have access to transportation, accommodation, food, and all things we need in our daily lives. One by one, all these things become free. So it ended up not making sense for us to own anything much. In our city, we don't pay rent because someone else is using our free space whenever we don't need it. My living room is used for business meetings when I'm not there. Once in a while, I choose to cook for myself. It is easy. The necessary kitchen equipment is delivered at my door within minutes. Shopping? I can't really remember what that is. For most of us, it has been turned into choosing things to use. Sometimes I find this fun. And sometimes I just want the algorithm to do it for me. It knows my taste better than I do by now. When AI and robots took over so much of our work, we suddenly had time to eat well, sleep well, and spend time with other people. The work that we do can be done at any time. I don't really know if I would call it work anymore. It's more like thinking time, creation time, and development time. Once in a while, I get annoyed about the fact that I have no real privacy, nowhere I can go and not be registered. I know that somewhere everything I do, think, and dream of is recorded. I just hope that nobody will use it against me. All in all, it's a good life. Does that sound like any movie? Any sci-fi movie that we've seen before? It's entitled "Welcome to 2030. Let me give you the full title again. "Welcome to 2030. I own nothing, have no privacy, and life has never been better." That's the full title. Look it up. As noted in the last American Vagabond article, Techno Tyranny, how the US national security state is using coronavirus to fulfill an Orwellian version. The US is rapidly adopting an artificial intelligence-driven mass surveillance system rivaling that of China, and legal and structural obstacles are being swept away under the guise of combating the coronavirus crisis. Again, technocracy requires social engineering to work, the effectiveness of which in turn requires mass surveillance and automation. In the first half of the 20th century, George Orwell wrote a dystopian novel, 1984, in which the government controlled every aspect of a person's life, including their very thoughts. Today, scientists seem intent on turning Orwell's nightmarish vision into reality, using the COVID-19 pandemic, national security, and public health as their justification for doing so. Don't expect them to admit it, though. Instead, be prepared for variations of the Forbes article. It's basically a world in which everyone has been stripped of purpose. Artificial intelligence algorithms make decisions for you. And if you disobey or start thinking fancy thoughts all on your own, you can expect it to be financially and socially disenfranchised. Effectively eliminating an individual from society will be as easy as pressing a button and putting a freeze on your digital wallet and identification. Already, many truth tellers that were purged from YouTube and other social media platforms simultaneously lost their PayPal and other digital payment accounts. No advance warning and no justification given. Imagine if all your finances were tied together in a digital finance system and everything was shut down all at once. That would be pretty discouraging, wouldn't it? It would create a sense where, you know what? I don't want everything taken away from me. So now you have an environment in which everybody speaks the same language. Sounds utopian. Unfortunately, that language is a common thought that you are given to have, which means you don't think for yourself anymore. And if you think this kind of technology is still in its cradle phase, check out Spyro Scora has a video in which he discusses the rollout of the United Nations biometric digital wallet, which undoubtedly brings the UN one step closer to becoming the world's de facto leadership hub. Sounds sci-fi? Artificial intelligence is a key component of effective surveillance and social engineering. Data is useless unless you can interpret it and make decisions on it, as noted by the last American vagabond. In 2019, a US government body dedicated to examining how artificial intelligence can address the national security and defense needs of the United States discussed in detail the structural changes that the American economy and society must undergo in order to ensure a technological advantage over China, according to a recent document acquired through a FOIA request, Freedom of Information Act. This document suggests that the US followed China's lead and even surpassed them in many aspects related to AI-driven technologies, particularly their use of mass surveillance. Can you say, what's it called? 5G. Yeah, I almost said G5. 5G. This perspective clearly clashes with the public rhetoric of prominent US government officials and politicians on China, who have labeled the Chinese government technology investment and exports of its surveillance systems and other technologies as a major threat to Americans' way of life. However, here it is, America is adopting and looking to surpass what China has been doing and implementing. The document the article refers to was produced by the National Security Commission on Artificial Intelligence, a government organization created by the National Defense Authorization Act of 2018. Its purpose is to consider the methods and means necessary to advance the development of artificial intelligence, machine learning, and associated technologies to comprehensively address the national security and defense needs of the United States and ensure the U.S. maintains a technological advantage. To that end, the NSCAI, the National Security Commission on Artificial Intelligence, is pushing for an overhaul of the American way of life and economy in order to usher in more comprehensive AI-driven surveillance apparatus. In other words, the Great Reset. Now, while the real plan is to usher in tech-driven, globalist-run dystopia free of democratic controls, technocrats speak of this plan as a way to bring us back into harmony with nature. It sounds good. But how good is it really? Are we getting back with nature by embracing this technological change? By embracing this system where algorithms make decisions for us? That is what has been happening. Something as simple as entertainment. I don't know how many pay attention to it, but the video service, I won't call their name, but they have the big N as their logo. When you log on and you watch a few shows or movies, you realize that they are suggested movies or shows based on what you have already seen. So what happens is, because you have these suggestions and they're related to what you've seen already, naturally you're going to gravitate towards these suggestions. Take that, because I'm pretty sure there are some people who are saying right now, yeah, that's what they're saying, but my mind is more powerful than that. I have control of my mind. No computer is going to be influencing me to that end. Oh yeah? It does it with that video service that you're using. It does it every time you look at your personal devices. When you go on social media and those ads pop up. It does it every time. Because there was an item that you were looking for and now you have options popping up and all of a sudden you remember, oh, I didn't place that order. I need to go and do that. Because you were looking for it because you either needed it or wanted it. Now it is in your face constantly. What are you going to be doing? Looking at the best way to acquire that thing. Whether it be the fastest shipping method or the cheapest price, whatever it is. You're already being influenced. So don't even try to justify it by saying, hey, I am stronger than that. I have willpower. I have a strong mind. Really? You think so? If you did, ads wouldn't have the effect that they do on you. Because marketing and promotion people, they have an insight into that. Subliminal messaging is real. So when you go into the mall and you go by the food court and then you suddenly remember, gee, I am hungry. And you look up at all the options available. I don't know if you realize that there's a common thing that is happening. Bright colors are used. Didn't that occur to you? Yeah, it's all a part of marketing. What is also used is scent. Because the scent from those kitchens, from the cooking of those meals, is pumped into the area where you are. So you're going to be hungry. You didn't notice that happening either? Well, maybe you'll stop and pay attention now. Maybe, just maybe. For those who really don't care, well, let's just get ready for what is to come. Let's get ready for the new norm. I guess you're already embracing that utopia. But you think it'll be worth it? This is Una Morgan.
It's Una Morgan.
Working out with Jaddy and Brother Briglia.
Evolution, come on, evolution. Didn't know I was supposed to be. Didn't know who I was.
It's called Evolution.
The girl I thought I should be. Put my life on pause. At times I didn't feel right. Living in my own mind. Didn't know I was so blind. But now I see it's evolution. Ain't no illusion. This evolution. 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 Me, I do what me have to do. Say what me have to say. Look here what you have to say. Say what me want to say.
Pull up with the glizzy gon' OD. All these little bodies and they know me. Pull up with the glizzy gon' OD. All these little bodies and they know me. Rockstar Bon Jovi. Rockstar Bon Jovi. All these little bodies and they know me. Rockstar Bon Jovi. I learned it was chores, don't get lost in emotion. Break through the commotion I do. Shots make you jump up, gon' party till sun up like we don't got nothing to lose. All through the come up and working to stun up. I get what I want, yeah I choose. From winter to summer, I keep me my gunner. The haters, they want me to snooze.
It's evolution, my evolution. My evolution. This evolution. Evolution. I wanna say evolution. Me, I do what me have to do. Say what me have to say. Look here what you have to say. Say what me want to say. Up we say. Up we say. Up we say. That just say. Up we say. Up we say. Up we say. That just say. Now it's time for me to be grown. No more time for games. No more time for playing. I will never ever be alone. Gotta make a change. Time to rearrange.
Evolution, mind captivation, feel the vibration, never watch fade. Fun on pollution, Afro evolution with a pun. Hip word, I'm a weapon. Rise from the ashes with vengeance, sending the blessings every sentence. Feeling my essence in your presence, ayy. Whoa, 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 ayy. Mr. Evolution with a pun, living in illusion through all the confusion. I forgive thanks for the Almighty One, still remain strong in a white man land. Mr. Evolution with a pun. It's a evolution with a pun. Mr. Evolution with a pun. Okay, no pollution. What we say? What we say?
It's evolution, my evolution. Ain't no illusion. This evolution. Evolution. I wanna say evolution. Me, I do what me have to do. Say what me have to say. Look here what you have to say. Say what me want to say. Now it's time for me to be grown. No more time for games. No more time for playing. I will never ever be alone. Gotta make a change. Time to rearrange.
Want to welcome you to Musical Therapy. That was the sound of Una Morgan. Track called Evolution. Want to take a moment and say thank you to GMAT Music Solutions for sponsoring this segment of the broadcast. GMAT Music Solution brings your event to life, providing sound, light, and stage production services, musical equipment, PA systems, audio engineers, DJs, bands, musicians, singers, and so much more. Give them a call, 754-307-GMAC. That's 754-307-4622. Or give them a link at gmatmusicsolutions.com. Thank you, GMAC Music Solutions. Much love and respect. This is Carpet Face working out with Jimmy Lyons. It's called Before the Fall.
Was a warning to let them know. What you reap is what you sow.
switch them. Me not fi beg no man for rise the Uzi them. That's why me tell the little juvie them. Now follow the man and kill your friend, 'cause you will end up a prison. Me can sing and kill the switch them. Me not fi beg no man for rise the Uzi them. That's
Mr. Vegas.
Now follow the man and kill your friend, 'cause you
The track is called Be Strong.
So you know them cooperating down a station. One man fi kill man for you is a waste man. Can't do it yourself, you don't gonna know how fi trace man. Me international, them full up a bass song. Look how long me drop the bomber, where them a wait man. Come in like them never hear it, 'cause them man yam come drop a song and pushy gal. Me make the general run left the army. Me drop a bomb over the and kill all Sirani. This switch can't go far, 'cause him have a sore foot. Any girl with sex that them cranny. Get a use to take no this from the man. Be strong, be strong. You never come here fi be no weak fence, so make no man style you up and you no respond. Get a use to take no this from the man. Be strong, be strong. You never come here fi be no weak fence, so make no man style you up and you no respond. From your this you know me not forget, no matter how long it take. Remember say are you first style you them with. Me no share my split, can for them up. Love it about fish, you know say them a proctologist. Watch me a step in at them face like crime. I know it was gonna take some time. Lyrics me use and chop them up fine. Chop out all piece and friend earline. Right off the wall.
It's called Be Strong. The sound of Mr. Vegas. 20 minutes to the top of the hour. 20 minutes before DJ Papa Lot working out with the one and only Shinehead. Kingston 12 Hi-Fi.
Be strong. You never come here fi be no weak fence, so make no man style you up and you no respond. Me can sing and kill the switch them. Me not fi beg no man for rise the Uzi them. That's why me tell the little juvie them. Now follow the man and kill your friend, 'cause you will end up a prison. Me can sing and kill the switch them. Me not fi beg no man for rise the Uzi them. That's why me tell the little juvie them. Now follow the man and kill your friend, 'cause you will end up a prison.
This is Caramanti.
Time it is the master.
It's called I Believe in You.
You want to move much faster and grow, but everything take time. No matter how you grind, rushing just cause disaster. Go slow and don't listen to no one, please. Don't give up on your own dreams. Just keep on working on. Stay focused to the task, and victory will be yours indeed. Yeah. And I tell you what, I believe in you. But the question is, do you believe in you too? I believe in you. No, all me want know is right now what you are gonna do. Is a step you feel make. Turn your goal in a your new project. No stop till everything start connect. And you think shot loud on the internet. In a life you feel have no regret. Chase your dreams and build your asset. A hard work of tears and sweat, but no matter pray that pray what come next. I believe in you. But the question is, do you believe in you too? I believe in you. No, all me want is time it is
matters.
This is Ed Robinson.
I have serious news to pass on to.
It's called Love's in Need of Love today.
What I'm about to say could mean the world's disaster, could change your joy and laughter to tears and pain. It's that love in need of love today. Oh, don't delay, send yours in right away. Oh, because hate's going round, breaking many hearts. Oh Lord, stop it please, before it's gone too far. Hey. The force of evil plan to make you its possession, and it will if we let it destroy everybody. We all must take precautionary measures. If peace and love you treasure, then hear me when I say that love's in need of love today. Don't delay, send yours in right away. Don't you know that hate's going round, and it's breaking hearts? Oh, we all gotta stop it. Stop it, please, before it's gone too far. Oh, yeah. Love's in need of love today. Don't delay, send yours in right away.
Say you're a soldier, a ragamuffin soldier. Say you don't need no one to make it in this world. But the truth of the matter, unity,
This is Liba.
and there's no way we can survive.
It's called Raga Soldier.
You need me, like I need you. We should be united in unity.
If you think you can do this all on your own, think again.
And shine, show your light to all the world. Oh, and out, let your love transform your heart. I know we can do this. We have to work with each other. Your hand in mine, together we can change the world. So many changes to make, a brighter future for us.
10 minutes to the top of the hour. Just a few more minutes before I get on out of here. I want to thank you all for tuning in. Think about the things that we'll be talking about tonight. You know, this concept of a utopian community. It only truly works when we change our mindset and we start considering others differently. But it doesn't mean that you take away the option of choice. It doesn't mean that you get all these mandated vaccines. It doesn't mean that you give up your rights to choose. It means that you think for yourself. It means that you take care of your health. It means that you look out for those around you in your community. That is how you get a utopian community. You don't have peace without conflict. The key here is to effectively address the conflict, to rationally address the conflict, not to eliminate the conflict, because then you have control and you are not the one in control. This is Shelly Sweet Shells. It's called Love We Need.
Can you feel it now? Can you feel it now? Raise that peace flag up high.
This has been musical therapy on this Healthy Love Night.
Raise it up to the sky.
Janet comes up in another 8 minutes. Stick around on Reggae Global Radio for him. I'll be back with Real Talk Wednesday, closing out the night shift week.
It's bloodshed falling. Switching at the station is the same thing, yo. I'm realizing love we need.
You definitely won't want to miss this one.
Love is all we need. But
Another 2 minutes. Reggae Global Radio will be taking a break. It will be the last you hear from me.
please just tell me why.
And thank you each and everyone for your love and support. Good morning, good afternoon, good day to you, wherever you are in Reggae Global Radio world. Take care until later on, okay?
People hear me. Now they gotta be careful who they meet. I'm realizing love we need today. Love we need at break. Love is all we need, but hate is all we breathe. Yeah.
Taking it once more from the top. Shelly Sweet Shells. Her latest release. It's called Love We Need.
Can you feel it now? Can you feel it now? Raise that peace flag up high. Raise it up to the sky. Raise that peace flag up high. Raise it up to the sky. Love I say. Turn on all your TV and your radio.
dance today. Reunite the world with only love. I say,
I'll be there for you. Even if you don't talk all the while, I'll still care for you. When you need me, I'll be always here. Even when I don't.
Leaving you with this one from Paul Anthony, working out with Maurice Gregory.
I'm always busy. It's hard to get a life when you have to make a living. I know I got some family.
It's called When You Need Me.
Here, I'm in a link with our chat to in months and years, yeah. It no fear, it I swear. But if I say I love you, that means I still care. Trust me, sometimes I gotta walk alone, but I'll be back home real soon. When you need me, I'll be there for you. Even if you don't talk all the while, I'll still care for you. When you need me, I'll be always here. Even when I don't pick up the phone.
This is where I say good morning, good afternoon, good day to you wherever you are in the world. From right here in South Florida, I bid you a good night.
Try to do better. Cause if I lose you tomorrow.
Remember, I'm back tomorrow, same time, same place, 10 till midnight. Right here, kevinstew.com, Foundation Radio Network. Well, tomorrow, not tomorrow night. That's on the Clinton Lindsay Network tomorrow night.
Push right through the anxiety. I'll be there for you. Even if you don't talk all.
But I'm right here for you.
When you need me,
catch you then.
I'll be always here.
Peace and love. Good night.
I don't pick up the phone. You don't mean I don't care. It's been a long time since I've seen you. Yeah. But still you on my mind. Oh. Miss you, such a long time since we lost out. But the love that's in the cloud. I'm here for you. When all is lost, so say the word. When you need me, I'll be there for you. Even if you don't talk all the while, I'll still care for you. When you need me, I'll be always here. Even when I don't pick up the phone, it don't mean I don't care. When you need me, I'll be there for you. Even if you don't talk all the while, I'll still care for you. When you need me, I'll be always here. Even when I don't pick up the phone, it don't mean I don't care. When you need me, I'll be there for you. Even if you don't talk all the while, I'll still care for you. When you need me, I'll be always here. Even when I don't pick up the phone, it don't mean I don't care. When you need me.
Greetings and salutations, one and all. You're invited to tune in to the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew. It airs on Mondays with Community and Finance, Tuesdays with Healthy Love, and Wednesdays with Real Talk from 10 p.m. to midnight Eastern Time. Come spend some time interacting in the stew pot where we keep things bubbling and wind down in musical therapy. The Night Shift with DJ Kevin Stew is on kevinstew.com, where you're encouraged to have acceptance through enlightenment.